the best races are.
Yeah, certainly we see the biggest changes. We don't see, like, we don't know what to expect, so it certainly makes the races exciting. And I guess we are off.
We've got Garbage White Magic, we've got Quake and Temper at level 1, and we've got the different parties. We've got Fighter Rainbow versus Fighter Thief Red Black. What do you think about those parties?
Well, I'm a Fighter Rainbow person myself, but Thief does give you a little bit more of that run in the early game, and if you find your equipment, I guess it gives you that option. I'm not a big fan of using Thief as your melee, but I've certainly seen people make it work.
Mm-hmm. And TheRealSuperPleb already out of the gate storming towards the Temple of Fiends. I love it. It won't save a lot of time over the long run, but I just love watching new players have the confidence to just storm out of Canaria and just sprint straight over there before we've checked even all the shops yet.
Yeah, absolutely. If you know you have the magic to take it on, then why not just get out there? And the other thing I'm seeing is this is the first big choice that we've seen a lot in this tournament is, do you check these chests in the Temple of Fiends, or you just go straight at Garland?
I mean, the answer to that is you always check the chests. I just got done calming a match with Loose Canal in Temple of Fiends. So yeah, I'm firmly on team always check the chests.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Although I'll check the save items so I can save outside in case something in here rolled nasty, but finding that canal, it makes such a big difference in how you're going to play the seed.
But it looks like something wiped Super Pleb. He's taken another crack at it.
It was the spider fight that Alliesong made it just straight through, so... And he decided just to go straight at Garland this time after having checked the chest, so smart use of his encounters. Garland falls into a crack and disappears. Princess Sarah is very grateful. The king gives us a key, and she gives us a cube, so not something we're going to play with anytime soon, but the key means we have a bunch of free chests to check, and Super Pleb is on his way over there right now. Just easy money and easy equipment.
Come on, one loose. We got a cabin. We got 14,000 gold. We got 1,000 gold. We got another cabin. How about a copper gauntlet and $3? We got all the money we could ever want for level 1 through 4 spells. Maybe some good equipment. Maybe even a vendor item. But not a whole lot beyond that.
Yeah, but honestly, I would be happy to see that. That 14k gold gives... Well, and heck, there's a 13k pro ring. I wonder if those were meant to be together.
Honestly, if my choices are all the magic for my red mage and black mage or one pro ring, I'm going to take all the magic. I might not be able to use it all right now, but the more I level, the more it'll come into play. And unless we have like 4 things around here that are all slinging toxic, we can stand to do without the pro ring for now.
Oh, no, absolutely. I agree. I would have made that choice too. I would have picked up a bit more of the chainmail, with the chainmail being at 16 gold a pop, because that's enough absorb to make a difference early and cheap and easy.
It's the best starting armor for the fighter and the red mage. Red mage is surprisingly tanky in the early game. Level 2 magic, we got Brack and Bane on the same level. Feels a little bad, but that's okay. Brack is the superior one. No sweeper spells yet, so actually that Bane will still do something.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I would have make sure to pick up the Bane just to have it, have those extra charges able to at least try to sweep. And then on the white magic, we had Cure 2, but we also had Wall. So a little bit of useful stuff, but not necessarily what you're going to use right away.
So here we go. We got us Iron Pirate fight. They all fall in a ditch. And nope, one of them survived. One of them managed to keep the feet on solid ground and then fell into the next hole.
I think he was just standing on his buddies that were in the ditch before him.
Mm-hmm. And they give up the prized herb, take that over to Elflin, hand it over, one of the missing herbs and spices required for Elflin's famous chicken.
Don't get me going on fried chicken already. I'm starving, man.
I have committed the cardinal sin of comms when hungry, so buckle up.
Yeah, well, Alliesong wiped on Garland. He managed to take her down. I don't think she's fighting it out. She's not casting Quake, and Garland is not happy to not get his cake.
As long as, I mean, we still got the silver sword, or that I don't think that's a silver sword. That's some kind of sword. Some kind of sword in the hands of a fighter is good enough. It'll get the job done as long as that fighter doesn't take too many melee strikes.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that heal. Not a spell I normally pick up, but she is putting it to good use in this fight.
Mm-hmm. A lot of hit points on this Garland, more than I would have expected. Ooh, down goes the fighter for Allie. And down goes the white mage. We're on basically 1 damage melee strats, and Allie resets out, decides that fight's not going to get there. We're going to head elsewhere. We're going to look for better sweeper spells. We're going to feel bad in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't mind this play, though. It's certainly, if that's one of the things I've had to learn, is if you go in there once and it doesn't work, you need to stop and say, okay, what am I going to do differently next time? Was it just a 3 and 256 that got me, or is it actually something I need to do different to get through?
Mm-hmm.
Well, our level 3 black magic was interesting. Warp, Ice 3, and Fast.
And we've got Heal 3 over here in white magic, so that means our red mage is going to have to make some painful choices. Some very painful choices, actually, now that I think about it, because I really want that Heal 3, and I really want Warp, and I really want Fast. But we had no sweeper spells in level 1 and level 2. I don't like it.
And
level
I don't like either.
Level 4 is an eternity to wait for that Fire 3.
Well, just with the different elemental spells, with a 3 being, a third level of those being at different levels, I mean, you want both, because some things are, with all the resistances, we haven't seen nukes, so that, we don't have any of the non-elemental spells. If you get one of those, somebody's going to give you problems where you need the other one.
Shuffling a lot of gear around on SuperPleb side as Alliesong is taking one of the party packs outside of Provoca. Doesn't like what's going on. Heads inside. I think that was a gamble for early levels that went horrifyingly wrong. And the Elf Prince hands over the Oxyale. Would have been great last week. Not so great this week.
Yep, so we used we turned over the herbs for the chicken and got some fizzy drink instead.
Yeah, you got to put the combo meal together. Like, you got to have the drink with the chicken. Otherwise, the whole meal is just ruined.
And sorry, I had someone decide that she was worried about, the delivery people outside, so she decided to agree about the combo meal, I guess.
So, we've already hit TOF. It wasn't there. Where are we looking for Canal? Do you do the logical play? Do you hit Dwarf and Matoya first, or since key items already sent you down in the direction of Elfland, do you decide, you know what? Let's just haul off and do Marsh.
Okay, I like memeing as much as the next guy, but I'm in the Never Marsh camp. There's too many and different enemies in there to where you end up with something rolling something nasty. But we don't have levels, we don't have good magic. I think you gotta try for these other things and try to get level 5, level 6 before you go down into Marsh.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got $6 in heal staff, which is not great. I mean, we can vendor the heal staff or something, but those were not the things we were looking for. And we're gonna head down here. Oh, right, we have the key. Yeah. And ribbon, $7. There's our canal.
Hey, now we can skip Marsh and it's even better.
And the loose crystal. We got 2 loose in dwarves. Oh, okay.
Yeah, warp doesn't work if you're like level 3.
Still, I like the instinct to just go straight for it. It's just unfortunate levels for it right now. Are we gonna hooray? Hooray! This more than anything else is a hooray seed. Yeah, we slammed out 4 hoorays because we know what's going on. Pack your bags, we're going to Matoya.
Not just that, but the routing pays off where he gets that loose crystal first, and he can take it to Matoya, so never have to go see her again.
Are we gonna have the mythical turbo seed where we get, like, we had the 2 loose in Dwarf, are we gonna get the 3rd loose in Matoya?
I don't think so. I rolled this seed, so yes, runners, blame me for everything that goes wrong. But the seeds I've rolled have typically been like nice at some things, but then you turn a corner and oh wait, there's the hammer. So I'm waiting for that, TFC loose or something loose buried in Marsh that's required that no one should ever have to go back and do.
Oh. Oh my god.
So, and that means that it didn't matter which one you did first, you're gonna have to go back to the other side.
Yeah. Oh my god. This is beautiful. I just want to thank you right now. I don't care how much of a tire fire magic is. Like, just key item placement, I just want to thank you.
And just like we've done, I mean, the only things we haven't done the crown, but otherwise we're almost playing vanilla.
Because we found the 2 loose and the canal, we're now purely on incentives at this point. We're only opening boxes because we choose to, because our gear is not great, because we need cash for items for whatever. As soon as we are happy with our gear, we don't have to open another box for the rest of the game. That's amazing.
Yeah,
and that's like 13 minutes in.
And that means we only hit the chest dense areas. We don't have to deal with all the the thumb screw chests or the whatever you want to call them, the squiggles in Volcano or anything out of the way. We just take, like you said, we take what we want.
Question in chat, missed both loose, or missed the non-crystal loose. So yeah, we had Canal and Crystal in Dwarf Locked, and then we had TNT in Matoya. So what we really want is this TNT to turn into either Canal or Floater, or sorry, either Canoe or Floater, it doesn't matter which, and then we go get the other at Crescent, and then we're really off to the races. Crown is fine, Fetch is fine, it just delays the prize. Meanwhile, Allie is having a heck of a time with Garland, is committed to the melee strats with some unfortunately low levels. And even worse, Garland has Paralyzed Touch. This is a situation where it's important to know what magic you have access to and what magic can function where. Quake generally doesn't work on a lot of things, but it should be noted that Garland has no magical resistances, and Garland's magic defense stat is very, very low. So, Quake will work, Beam will work, Brack will work, Rub will work, Zap will work. As long as we got anything, we can make it go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's the first boss in the game for a reason. I guess I'm spoiling vanilla, but that's not that bad. But yeah, so literally anything damaging, anything will get you through him. You just have to, you just cast it 2-3 times. If you wipe more than once, then I'd be kind of surprised.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't mind is her having these problems and taking these imp fights to try to get, level 3, level 4 out of this.
I also saw a saber purchase, and I believe that saber went to the red wizard, and I think that was Quake. The black mage is casting something. Nope, black mage is casting fire. Fire is also an okay alternative here. In the absence of insta-death spells, like 4, 5, 6 casts of fire will generally get there on a Garland unless it rolls disastrously. And speaking of disasters, TheRealSuperPleb is charging straight into Earth Cave. I love the gumption. I love the aggression. We don't. Our horsepower is a little lacking. If we find a quakeable grind tile, this is amazing. That is not a quakeable grind tile. And Alliesong has made it through Garland, picks up the key in the cube, and is going to start making their inner sea checks. As TheRealSuperPleb continues to clear chests on the top floor of Earth Cave.
Yeah, certainly an interesting choice. What I see more often from experienced runners is they will dip out after like that one chest save and come back in if they got something worth keeping, or they'll just reset out and save the walk. And speaking of something worth keeping,
things worth keeping. Number 1, Mazza.
Yep, so Mazza and Sunsword, I mean, you've got your endgame weapons already. We need a couple pieces of armor. We've got a ribbon. I mean, are we ready for Topher 17 minutes in?
So, if we commit to just buying our armor at the grocery store from this point out, we can still get okay defense, but there's a lot of things I would prefer to have. I'd like to see what would I like to see actually now that I think about it? Opal or dragon armor, that would be nice. Or in the absence of that, just fire and ice armor, just something to prevent me from having to buy steel armor. If we could find the loose gold bracelet, that would be nice because those tend to cost a lot of money. Speaking of money, we're going to need a lot of that. I don't think we're completely done opening boxes yet, but I would probably be done after the dungeon I do after this.
Yeah, I thought I saw the gold bracelet in Elfland for like 9k or something, but maybe our tracker can fill us in. I know I saw gold something.
SuperPleb's making a dive down to the incentive chest with the Mazza in tow. We can do okay against some of these encounters, but the problem with Earth Cave encounters is that there's just so many in here that are like 6 to 9 sprites. And you can have the Mazza, but that's still one enemy at a time.
Well, and the other issue with these encounters is that there are so many different types of encounters, so many different types of enemies that if one of them rolls bad, right, it's the same problem with Marsh, just not quite as bad, and you're typically a little bit higher level.
Yeah, I've been saying for a little while this week, Earth Cave is like Marsh Cave, just longer. It has all the problems of Marsh Cave. It's just more floors that you have to deal with.
Yeah, I guess I like Earth a little bit better than Marsh. There's more chests. The chests feel like they're better clumped, so it's a little bit easier to get all of them for me, but or at least enough of them, and I don't feel bad about skipping a couple.
Right side of the screen, I caught something with squint. I could not tell if that was geists or specters.
I didn't catch one or the other. I was watching the pirates falling into the ditch on the left side.
Mm-hmm. And we're already skipping chests behind grind tiles and everything. Pleb knows what he's got. Pleb knows that he is on the most turbo of seeds, and all he has to do is keep track of where the important stuff is. But this vampire is not letting him have the earth incentive just yet. They're only single punches, but they're hitting for a lot. Red Mage with the Sun Sword gets there. Do we have access to life? We sure don't. We're shuffling the Mazza around. This is a 2-mage grind from here on out. What's our party? Is it something we can risk leaving behind down here? I'm building this up until we open the box, but Trash Pack gets in the way first. Let's quake some mummies. Sure, why not? And healing up just in case. And it's an opal bracelet. Can we warp out?
No, we can't. They're still not high enough level, or he wasn't high enough level when he went in to have warp charges.
And Pleb makes the decision to leave the opal bracelet behind. We're headed elsewhere. I love that decision because we know what the incentive is. We know it's not gating progression anywhere. We know we're going to be back for it when we head towards Lich. We don't need this right now. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. No, absolutely reset out of that opal bracelet. Leave it there. It's not enough of a difference, and you're going to pick it up anyway when you go back down for Lich, like you said. I'm more interested in where this crown leads, and I mean, I kind of would have made, tried to route in this crown first, I think, leaving the inner sea behind, but it's also easier to get back to with a canoe.
I think the routing I would have liked is, like, if we're committing to Earth Cave, like, that's a bold check, and if we have already decided in our minds we're doing that, hit Earth Cave and then loop down around to the bottom side Elfland Dock, then we can hit Astos, then we can head on to Crescent. I think that's the way I would have routed that.
That's fair. Yeah, absolutely, and that's the other big choice is, do we do Crescent, and how do we route that in? Because we don't have a lot of other choices right now without the canoe.
Meanwhile, on the left side of our screen, Alliesong is in Elfville, turns in, completes the Colonel's secret recipe, gets a Sun Sword out of the armory. Be interesting to see where they go from here, as SuperPleb pulls Astos, turns the crown into a bottle. That's the end of that fetch until we get Floater.
So I guess we get to go see the confused old men.
And another thing I want to point out during Allie's shopping spree real quick. Now, SuperPleb is Fighter Thief Red-Black. I love the party, it's my party. The problem is when there's 4 good spells on the same level. Allie doesn't have to worry about the same puzzle because of that White Mage. Because that White Mage is there, we can just stick the heal 3 on the White Mage, call it good, and give those other 3 very, very good Black Magic spells to the Red Mage.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes sense, and that's one of the power of the fighter rainbow is you have that strong tank, and while you might not get as many casts of some of the nice spells, you have that safety net in the White Mage, and yeah, and you get all of the magic. You're gonna get whatever it is.
Pleb deciding to abandon potential grind tiles in Northwest Castle. That's an interesting play. I wonder if he's banking on, because I see the thief in the top slot. The thief is named Dan ? Because the thief has been moved up, I have to assume that we're attempting to get it killed. And we're attempting to get it done as fast as possible. So I wonder if he's just not going to check grind tiles from here on out either, and just hope that passive experience through the rest of the game just gets him there.
Yeah, and that's certainly something we've been seeing these first couple of weeks in this tournament is that a lot of the more experienced runners will pick up, level 8, level 10, level 15 even very quickly in our seeds and then move on, and that makes all of the rest of the game so much easier and so much faster if you only have to go through it once because you have the spell charges to just blow through it. So he's going back. He is checking all of the key locked locations.
Interesting.
So yeah, the question, does Super Pleb realize that he's picked up all the loose items? His treatment of Earth would seem to point toward him understanding that, but checking all of the key locks is a little strange.
It's a question, I think, of familiarity with the flag set. I think the question that Super Pleb was asking himself just now was, wait, I don't remember. Is Better Trap Treasure on or not? For the record, Better Trap Treasure is not on, so that would have been 3 chests behind 2 of the same grind tile. And eventually, on the way there, he decided, wait, this is a lot more time. This is a lot of time to get 3 boxes when I could spend far less time getting far more boxes. I'm going to head elsewhere.
Right, and especially when we're at this point of no one box is going to make or break our run at this point.
Mm-hmm. And Alliesong making use of the Dwarf Cave dock as a shortcut to head up to Temple of Fiends to check keylock chests. Now, looking at her items, it looks like Allie has not been to Dwarf Cave yet because I'm seeing no canal, no crystal. Hasn't been to Matoya yet either. So as far as Allie is concerned, both of the loose are still out there. We know not where. I like this as a cheeky play because TOF locked is one of the places that few runners go to, especially this early out of the gate. It's one of those things of, hey, if the loose is here, this is going to be like a super move.
No, absolutely. I agree with that analysis completely. And using that dock to get back to the Temple of Fiends is something I hadn't considered until I've seen it done a couple of times recently. So certainly, you need the ship for it, but it makes that land route a lot faster and a lot fewer encounters.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that seems to be 6 to 9 gargoyles, which at this point in the game is kind of a super deadly encounter. Yep. We didn't get what we wanted out of that, so we're going to reset and then we're going to head for the next one. Conserving resources. I like it.
Right, and the real super pleb found out that the sages gave us a ruby, so we are on our way back across the sea, back toward Melmon, that wretched hive of scum and villainy, and we'll head on through to feed the Titan.
Yeah, I'm quite suspicious of anyone who just kind of spends their whole life in a town, and as soon as you say hello to them, they just go, I'm a farmer. That's a town that's up to something.
Oh no, I guess I'm more suspicious of the whole, yeah, this Batman totally destroyed our whole town. You should donate to the recovery effort and go hurt him. Buy one of our t-shirts for 1,000 gil.
Yep, Allie having bad luck on turn order, trying to get to the top 2 treasure chests, but still committed to it. Still committed to the idea of, if this is what I want, this will be amazing.
Yep, and I'm trying to look and see if she's actually... I think she's doing a hard reset here, because she keeps getting this same creep fight a little ways in. I'm wondering if she has the ability to do a soft reset as well, or understands encounter manipulation yet.
Based on the encounters I'm seeing so far, so first off the encounter table is a single creep, which as far as TOF encounters go is actually really nice. The unrunnable spiders are a bit of a bummer, but that might be the price we just have to pay just to get good pathing out of this.
Yeah, fair enough. And we pick up a pro ring, an ice sword, and the slab down in Titan's Trove. So Sarda's got to have what, a canoe for us?
So we got bottle, we got slab. We have to go somewhere else, and it's not loose. I think this has to be canoe.
Or chime? Well, no, because that doesn't
No.
lead to an incentive. It's got to
Right.
be a canoe.
It's got to be canoe. Here's where it's loot.
Or adamant to canoe.
Oh, yeah. No, it's canoe. So Allie, whatever was found up there, Allie wants to carry out. It's not spiffy armor. I wonder if there was another good weapon up there. Or maybe we're just carrying out experience. That could be the other option.
Yeah, I missed it as well. I was more focused on the incentive item on the other screen, so... And the TheRealSuperPleb trying to get his way through this encounter table to make it back. And now hits his hero run, is able to make it back from Sarda through the Titan's Cave and headed on to Melmond.
Ooh, Allie snubs the Hooray Dwarf. That is an unveteran move.
Yeah, she didn't just like not talk to him. She actually went around the building to get away from him.
Poor Hooray Dwarf. But we got the ribbon, that's great. And we got the canal, hooray! But wait, there's more!
Yeah, and I don't mind the stopping to equip the ribbon immediately with that kind of a pickup, but I think, you know, until you open all the chests, it might not be the most efficient way when you don't know what else is there.
Mm-hmm. It's the double-edged sword of, like, you want to remember to equip it. And if all the rest of the box, if all the last boxes you open in a place are garbage, you might think, all right, everything I got in there is garbage, let's just go. But if you stop and equip every time you open something good, if there's like 3 good things in a location, that's stopping and equipping 3 times. It's the question of how confident are you that you can just like keep everything in short-term memory and then just equip before you head out, because gosh knows that there's VODs out there of me losing red mages to carry too because I forget to equip ribbon or opal bracelet or anything else as armor, even though it's sitting right there in the inventory.
What I would never forget to equip a ribbon or an opal bracelet, and I certainly would never forget to like move a ribbon over off of a dead character. That
No.
has certainly never ever killed any of my runs.
No one has ever done that.
And since I haven't streamed any of my runs, you don't have any proof to prove otherwise. Maybe I streamed one, I forget, but...
Yeah, and so look, it's TNT. We're in go mode.
Yay. Yeah, and we've also found that the 2 good items of the non-necessary progression items. I guess technically Tail is also one of those, not necessary, but still something you really want to find.
Mm-hmm. It makes Topher way easier to have a class changed party than otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so it's the only one we haven't found is the Thor hammer, and at this point in the game, we don't really want to find it.
I beg to differ. with garbage magic in level 1 and level 2, and our already perilously low levels, I want a Thor hammer. I want a Thor hammer yesterday. Give me the Thor hammer.
Okay, fair enough. And I see our restreamer Demon Frog helping us out, and he agrees with you. He wants that Thor hammer. I'm just gonna pick up a loose black shirt or a loose mage staff, and forget the Thor hammer.
So SuperPleb is making a dive at ordeals. Most of our sweeper spells are going to be pretty effective in here. As long as we don't run into mancats and gargoyles, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, and if you speak about short-term memory, this is one of those places where I think this really tests your short-term memory. And it certainly killed some veteran runners where I've seen people spend 5-6 minutes wandering around in here and then just give up and nope out.
The worst part is remembering what floors you have and have not seen, but I try to just kind of narrate the run to myself as I go through it, because my microphone's muted, so no one's going to hear, but it's just like, all right, this top one, all right, the bottom one, all right, the second one, all right, keep going. Oh, nope, this is a bad one. Let's cast warp. Just narrating it to myself has really helped my ability to figure out what's what in there.
Yeah, I usually count off numbers. It's usually the top one is 1, the bottom one is 2, or the way, so I just have like a number sequence. It's usually like the little no branching ones that are the worst ones, because it's like, have I been into this one before or not? And SuperPleb getting the RNG, running away from those are Ankylos, because that is a trap tile you do not want to see.
Yeah, the Rankylo fight is a run ender, especially with a 3-man party. If 4 of them show up, just 3 of them have to get turn order, and suddenly you're back at the start.
Yeah, and that goes for, I think he's about level 10 now, but that goes all the way up to about level 20, and then they're just never fun to deal with.
Quaking mummies, I love it.
And Alliesong chasing her incentive items, turned in both the crystal and the TNT, and is on her way to turn in the crown.
Hey, vendor sword. And for our troubles, we get the rod, which is a little unfortunate for Pleb. We've already done a bunch of Earth Cave, but we could stand to do some more.
Yep, and honestly, if I'm him, there's a couple of rooms that, if I'm looking for gear, then there's a couple of rooms that I'm certainly going to check in there. It's like anything with about 3 chests or so is worth a little going out of the way for. I guess it's how far out of the way is it and how many boxes are there.
As Alliesong takes on Astos, getting the bad news about the bottle. This fetch quest is ended for now. We're going to have to head elsewhere.
Yeah, Demon Frog in chat making a good point that the real Super Pleb got Masamune out of Earth Cave. I would say arguably the bigger thing he got out of there is knowing that the incentive chest is the opal bracelet, so that it's not progression, so that he can keep moving along and find and unraveling the incentive items, so he can get the necessary things to beat this seed.
And Allie doing something that Pleb didn't, checking on grind tiles. Our first one was Burbs, and our second one is Spell Happy Nachos, but the first spell is slow too. And the second one is Lightning 1. I think out of those two, I would probably take a few Burb encounters and then bail.
Well, yeah, actually, I would probably take both of them. To me, this seems like a full level up spot. You take the birds early on, get yourself up to, 13, 14, 15, and then move over to the nachos. Because slow 2 is, if I'm using magic to kill him. I'm not using the fighter.
Mm-hmm. Ordinarily, yeah, I think I'd go for that. If I had houses to grind there with, I would probably set up shop until I ran out of houses.
And I think that she saved on the way out and not on the way in, but the frost snakes just always seem to have something not fun.
Those snakes are cold.
I'll give you that one. Wait, yeah, so they're cold-blooded. They're just snakes.
Oh, that's just science.
Sorry to science up your jokes.
So, Pleb, making a waterfall dive as Allie has basically completed everything that they're able to do in the inner sea and is headed out. Is Allie going to make the earth dive, or is Allie headed for Crescent?
Yeah, and as much as I like Masmoon, with the Sun Sword, I don't need to dive Earth. I don't need to, especially not having the rod. But we'll see where she goes.
Taking a brief look at the inventory to figure out what we can do, what we haven't done. I like it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't mind that at all. Taking a second, that will save you a lot of time if you're just running around, not knowing where to go.
Pleb's treasure haul out of Waterfall was the Zeus Gauntlet, a bucket of cash, and the floater.
So the only question is, do you check Onrak and possibly the caravan before leaving this area, or do you just go straight to opening up that floater?
I think the question depends on what we're still looking for. We're still looking for the vendor item, yes, but we have canoe, we have floater. What really could there be that's limiting our progress right now? I think I would check Onrak just because it's on the way. I think I would leave Oasis.
I think that's reasonable, especially because we know that you're going to have to walk those same tiles anyway, even if you're taking a floater over here. And of course, it's not in Onrak, it's in the caravan. And that's our tail, so that's perfect timing. We have our floater, and I know where my first stop would be.
Yep. As Caleb likes to say, go straight to the HR department for our promotion. Raid the HR snack cabinet while we're there, see if we find any gear or whatever.
Oh, that's what the the snack cabinet. Got it.
Yeah.
You think, Bahamut would just have, like, the candy dish out on his desk, like a normal person, but no, he's got to hide it.
No, he's got all those candles in his room, so the candy keeps melting.
I do want to take a second and acknowledge Greggly Puff's cold-hearted snack. So I guess we should look into their eyes.
Question in chat from Demon Frog, which also, thanks to Demon Frog for being the restreamer today. You have one ribbon. Do you skip Cardia Swamp? That's a complicated question, and I'm going to try and walk through my answer real quick. Yes, it's a long walk for 3 boxes, but at this stage in the game, we're missing not just gear, we're missing levels, and most of the encounters over here are doable with the spells that we have available to us. So I think I would still do it and just hope to hit 1 or 2 trash encounters along the way to try and scare up some quick, easy levels. But if I were a higher level, I wouldn't do it. I think if I was already well past like 12 or 13, I would not. I would skip Cardia Swamp.
Yeah, to me, honestly, I'm probably not checking a lot of Cardia. Even as free as it is, I'd rather go check. If I'm going to check boxes, I'm going to check boxes where I get levels.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that means only one place, although we can't get there quite yet. And that's Sky, Sky, Sky. Sky.
Sky, 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 Sky.
I gotta make sure I get my branding right, get the right number of skies in there.
Oh, I just I just throw more skies at it until it sounds right. Oh, getting a look at Pleb's levels, he is at like 13, 14. So yes, I would skip Swamp.
Now he's got that warp to make it out of Melmon quickly. I would not hesitate to get out of there as soon as I could.
Mm-hmm.
Only there for our quick language lesson. And yeah, absolutely. Love to see that routing to where he can now go take care of the bottle in Gaia, and if necessary, go down to the Lefanish, and because those are less time in the airship is less time in the seed.
Looks like Alliesong is following in the footsteps of SuperPleb, doing the cheeky Earth play. Allie has the same information that Pleb would have at this point. We don't need any more loose. This is purely about opening boxes until we're comfortable. And I wonder if that Mazza is going to make them turn around, or if we still have to check. We still want to commit to the Earth incentive, because it's like a 50-50 shot that the Earth incentive at this point is the canoe, if you're in Alliesong's position.
Yeah, and so I like that she's checking the trap tiles. I don't like that she's taking this fight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's level 8. These mucks are just... They're resistant to stuff. They're not a great XP. I mean, you had those birds. The birds just like pop. They're like, I mean, they're popcorn chicken.
Yeah, I mean, if we're under level 10 and we're in Earth Cave, I think I would probably take anything, assuming I had a house once I was done with first floor checks. But it would probably take a lot for me to get into Earth Cave. I think in this situation, Earth is the last place I'm checking. Like, I'd rather do it all in one shot. And because of just how fast the start of this was, there's no way that I have the horsepower to get through in one shot.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Certainly not having the rods so you can't one-shot the dungeon is a big deal too. Mm-hmm. And then also Crescent Lake is certainly a place where I've gotten, that level 6 up to level 10 just on the, well, especially if you can find the Pede encounter. But it's an incentive check. That's one of the few times I might take overland encounters for experience.
Mm-hmm. And Pleb gets the bad news that exit was level 7 White Wizard locked. But gets the good news, here's a chime.
Yeah, Damon Frong noting that we did pick up a Vorpal, so if some of our late bosses end up being particularly awful, that's a possibility, but honestly, Masa, Temper, and with the lock fixes, maybe your Red Wizard uses that instead of the Sun Sword.
Pleb, a devoted member of Team Steak. I love it. There's always room for steak.
Yes, there is. So, I mean, I had lunch and I'm still hungry.
I have not had lunch, and I'm very hungry.
Well, maybe SuperPleb can find us some blue steak on the back end of this. He's
Oh, that'll
certainly
make
throwing enough of regular ones at us.
Yeah, it's true.
And Allie takes the right path, avoids that extra trap tile, and finds her prize.
And hits the trap tile. I think that was just inspecting that particular grind tile to see if it's actually different than the other ones so far, because Earth 1 is a little bit confusing on what is and isn't different, because there's 3 separate ones on this floor.
Yeah, and there's your Thor hammer from the Fanish.
Yay! It might still be useful. I think we've leveled into access to nuke, so it might not be the most useful, but it'll still be useful.
Yeah, Nuke was level 5. So, yeah, no, certainly, and especially with the giant tiles normally being the same. He did not need to make that trip,
Yes,
but
he
he's
did.
still looking for the loot.
Right. He needed to make the trip because loot is still on the table. If he had the loot, that would have been an extra trip.
Yeah, and certainly you want to route it in while you're in this part of the world. So, yeah, Demon Frog calling it. The loot is in Ice Cave, so we can do that at the very end. I didn't see if he bought Exit on his newly promoted White Wizard, but if I could, I would.
Pleb does not have a White Wizard. Pleb is running Night Ninja, Red Wizard, Black Wizard.
Good point. So that means if he doesn't have a White Wizard, he makes that very difficult.
Yeah, but I assume Allie will buy Exit when they get there. But in the meantime, Allie is having a heck of a time with the trash encounters in Earth Cave, down to 2 Light Warriors. Basically on melee strats at this point, which is going to be great news for the Knight, not so much for the rest of the casters.
Yeah, so certainly she can look back on this, and there's just these small adjustments in terms of knowing which way to approach which chest and which trap tiles are linked and are the same encounter and which ones aren't. And just little things like that will make a big difference here in how she's making it through.
Meanwhile, SuperPleb gets the Adamant, which I guess we forgot about Adamant, but that Adamant's turning into the loot. It will be a heavy metal guitar.
Oh, so we're going there today, are we?
Yeah. I've got nowhere
I
else to go.
Known, but and Allie makes it out, saves, and dives back in. Is she going 2-man?
Ooh, I need to think about if I like this adjustment or not. Let's go over the basics real quick. So, we know that magic is garbage, but an infinitely leveled Black Wizard will still have access to every black magic spell, even the ones that are stupid high level. The Knight has Mazza already, and I believe we also found a ribbon. As soon as we find a second ribbon, that party is basically perfect geared.
Yeah, I mean, we know we're going to get a power bonk and an opal bracelet along the way, so, I mean, we want one other piece of armor for the Knight, but that's about it.
If we just take the majority of acceptable fights in here, not anything that's like 6 and 9 sprites or whatever, But if we take like 4 gargoyles, we could do. But I understand the impulse not to. But if we just gain a ton of levels in here, this might turn out really good. Down goes the Black Mage. So Allie's abandoning ship on Earth Cave. We're still carrying the Mazza out, which I believe is something that Pleb didn't do. But we're down to 2 characters. I wonder if 2 more will show back up again.
I'm pretty sure Pleb does have the massa.
Oh, did he carry it out?
Yeah, because he cleared the first floor, saved, and then dove straight down for the incentive.
Oh, well, all right then.
But yeah, and especially with Melmon not having the clinic, if you're thinking about pulling those 2 characters back, then this is the perfect time to just bail on this, head over to Crescent Lake, do your incentive check while you're hitting the heal shop. But she's thinking about it.
There's that heavy metal banjo we got. That's, I believe, the full list of key items. We're just looking for orbs now.
Yeah, we are 100%. So our tracker Burt Reynolds having lit up everything on the boards. So maybe we'll pick up a couple of spells, but
Ooh. Red learnable life too. That feels good.
Yeah, having any kind of life on a red feels really nice. Nuke and both lock spells all on the same level.
Okay, that's not good, but we can make do.
Yeah, and it's not like it's level 7 or something where even at Topher levels you're only going to have a couple of casts.
Mm-hmm. So SuperPleb is charging back down into Earth Cave. Probably wants that Opal Bracelet as soon as possible, and maybe finish looking for some of the other stuff that may or may not be in here, as Allie is sailing off. In what direction? Oh, in the direction of the discount party member store. And also Piers.
Yeah, she's been walking around with that Black Mage. Apologies to Saint Von Jester and Mr. Versetti for not having audio on her, but she was certainly playing it for you.
Just know that we can hear the screaming in our hearts.
Yep, and SuperPleb skipping all these chests a second time, so... There's a couple of these that I kind of consider greed chests, where they're so close to the path. It's 3 or 4 tiles and no spike, no trap encounters that you're gonna hit. And this is not probably the one that I'm most likely to skip out of all of these.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the encounter is not bad. It's not great, but it's not a disaster either.
Yeah, well, at his level, it's not an issue really. It's usually at lower levels is when it's just not worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess Edge was not happy with getting punched by these wizards and took out his rage on them.
Alright. Round 2 versus the vampire. This one went a lot smoother than the first one. And yep, we got our Opal Cheerio.
Yeah, just a little better. And does he go up? No, he is going straight on through. Although, um, I will remind him that Falconic has a school of dungeon routing that he might want to take a look at. I hear they have a special that goes out with the spring tournament. If you're an entrant, you get the first dungeon's worth of lessons free.
Well, let me rob from Falconic's paycheck real quick and go over, just in this particular example, Earth B4, there are effectively 3 routes through the maze. There's top route, middle route, and bottom route, and each one has something notable about it. The middle route is actually the fastest, but it has bats along the way that are annoying and can potentially get in your way, thus slowing you down. The bottom route has no bats, but is around 4 steps longer than the middle route. The top route is not only much, much longer, but also still has bats. Don't do top route.
Yeah, I certainly remember getting yelled at for not taking the bottom routes in Earth. And there's also a little bit of a choice in Earth 2 as well.
Right. The choice in Earth 2 essentially is if you're checking the chests of the top room, but not the bottom room, go top. If you're checking the bottom room, go bottom. If you're not checking anything, go bottom. And we've got our first orb lighting at right on the 1 hour mark.
Yeah, and heading over, I wonder if we are heading to Volcano. We are, so we're going to do these in effectively vanilla order so far. And
good
so
old
how
R Hydra. Sorry, go ahead.
So, no, how do you feel about this routing? Would you take these in order? Would you be going up to, sea or sky to pick up some more levels while you're diving?
I like the idea, the theory of getting more levels. With this party composition, I struggle to see how that's possible. We've got level 3 ice magic. That is ice 3 at level 3, right? Let me review my notes real quick. Yeah, we have ice 3 at level 3. Ice 3 is pretty okay against a lot of things in Sky. We've got Nuke for the rest of the things that aren't. We've got Fire 3 for Whizvamps. I can see a Sky play materializing, and then when we finally get to Tia, assuming no Warmech, we've got Brack for that. I don't like C at this point. C has a lot of... C is resource intensive. Much more resource intensive, I think, than even Sky is. I don't think the party quite has the levels to make it through C. It might after Sky, though. So I would probably Sky into C, into Earth, and then maybe Volcano last.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Sky, especially if I'm only checking certain chests. Of course, that ice armor is one of those things we were talking about earlier to pick up. That, especially you get to Sky 2 when pretty much every encounter is free XP, and then just check all the chests, and there's your grind. Just walking back and forth.
And we've got in the volcano, the real SuperPleb has found the sandwich station. Just gonna slam down some hoagies for around 20 minutes, see how many levels we get.
Yeah, and the only question is how high does he want to grind this, and is he gonna... And also with this being in Volcano, this is, if you want to just grind one character, this is the spot to do it.
He stopped at 20, and I kind of like that decision because we've got a lot of high experience dungeons ahead of us. We don't need to get all the way to 25 right now. We'll just get there based on passive experience through more stuff. So I like stopping at 20. I think an argument could be made for either 18 or 19, but 20 is perfectly fine.
Yeah, I might even consider going a little bit higher and then basically taking C and not taking an encounter unless it's the big eye, the XP pinata fight, and but no, it's also a question of what level are you comfortable going into Temple of Fiends with, and starting to plan ahead. So I know you're the proponent of speed and power, and I'm not quite there yet.
There's two the two most important parts of speed and power are speed and power. You can't just spend forever getting levels because then you're being slow, and you can't just sprint face first with your hair on fire into Topher because then you won't have power. So you have to balance the two together.
So our tracker Burt Reynolds noting that Invis 2 was available at level 4, so the Knight won't have that, but the Red Wizard will. I think that's the Red Wizard slot.
Invis 2, level 4, first slot. Yep, the Red Wizard will have access to it.
Right, but it'll be there when you need it the most, if that's what you want to do. And yeah, no defense sword yet, certainly.
So Allie is returning to the scene of the Earth Cave. I wonder if we're going to... No, we don't have the rod, so we can't quite make a run at this, but we're not investigating Hall of Giants tiles. I think we're making another
the opal bracelet.
That's right. Okay.
So that was a real, heads up play that the Super Pleb made, was that he went down, dove down, checked that chest even though his party was on their last legs, and said, "This is something I can come back to." And yes, Specty, what you said is absolutely correct. The Knight and the Red Wizard have the same spell availability for the first 3 levels. Invis 2 is level 4 magic, so the Knight is never able to access that. And then that's the point where my memorization of spell permissions ends. Yep, and this is why I am a casual player, and Lord Fizzlebeef is one of our veterans and has run duckling programs and such. And
as someone who is very well acquainted with the Red Wizard and absolutely hates taking a White Wizard unless absolutely necessary, yes, I have memorized the red magic tables because I need to. For those playing the home game without access to chat, we've got at level 1, you can have the first slot and the third slot. After promotion, you get the 4th slot. At level 2, you get all 4 slots. At level 3, you get the first slot and the third slot. At level 4, you get the first slot and the third slot. You get the 4th slot after promotion. At level 5, you get the first slot. You get the 2nd slot after promotion. And then at level 6, you get, after promotion, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th slot. And then in the on-rack top slot, you get that after promotion.
So everything you need to know about Red Wizards is being sold, offered by Lord Fizzlebeef, just $19.99. Available in the Melmon bookstore.
You too can be a master of Red Wizard spell slots if you just never take a White Mage ever again. It's easy. So SuperPleb has gone barreling into Mirage, probably headed up towards Sky. See if we can fix some of these levels. We've got a handy dandy blue D right here that Mazza should cut straight through, as Allie is continuing to try and push down to the incentive slot in the Earth Cave.
Well, and if I saw that right, she actually reset out of the muck trap tile going into that southernmost treasure room in Earth 2. So she is checking these chests and working her way through, checking all the different locations.
Mm-hmm. What location at this point is Allie missing? Allie has not been to Crescent. Allie has not been to Crescent to get the ruby to head back to get the
canoe.
Yeah, slab and canoe.
Yeah, and SuperPleb finding some of the better encounters here in Mirage. A little bit of fire. We get some vampire s'mores.
I do love the vampire fight in Mirage. It's one of the best experience trash fights in here. The only problem is you have to survive potentially a round of vampires hitting you in the face.
I'll just bring a white wizard and you're fine.
I don't understand the premise. What's even more fine is just getting the jump on him and just nuking him.
Yep, I'm perfectly okay with that too.
Ooh, and Pleb opens Excalibur.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have gone for this floor. I like the greater than or less than greater than room a little bit better. It's not. I guess it's more steps to get there. So maybe that's something I should count out one of these days.
So I think there's two important calculations for whether we're opening boxes in Mirage Sky. The first one is, are we happy with gear? I mean, that's just a straight look at your inventory. Are you happy? Yes, no. The second one, which actually overrides the first one in my view, is are we happy with levels? Because if we're honestly just looking to pack on more experience, walking to boxes will get us encounters and is more efficient than just walking back and forth in place.
Oh no, I absolutely agree with that. However, there are different encounters on these different floors, so I would save my walking for boxes for floors where there are fewer of the encounters that I dislike taking. For example, man-cats.
Sure.
With their high magic resist, I tried to avoid those. The bad men fight tends to be sort of like the vampire fight, but just worse, in my opinion. So
Sure.
I tend to avoid Sky 1, although there's these two nice rooms on either side that have a lot of boxes. And Sky 2 tends to be where I'll almost... And Sky 3, I'm very likely to clear those out if I'm interested in either levels or gear, just because every fight is a good fight, and then there's enough chests to make it interesting for me.
Yeah, I think all that's perfectly reasonable. Yeah, I don't even have anything to add.
Yeah, so it's always it's like Mirage 1 and Mirage 2 are the ones that are a little iffier. Mirage 2, I think, is a little bit better than Mirage 1, and that's the one that I'm not 100% on.
So the problems on Mirage 2 are that there's the Chimera, the potential for Chimera packs. Chimeras are usually not worth the effort spent killing them because they do a lot of melee damage and they tend to have a lot of hit points. If 2 spawn and you have 2 melee, it's fine. If 3 spawn, that's going to be some rounds. That's going to be a lot of incoming damage, a lot of resources spent. It is not great. Guards are fine. The undead bird pack is fine. Blue D is fine. I believe we still have to deal with Saber T Catman. Or is that first floor only? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'd have to look and remember, but the real Super Pleb checks these greed chests and hits the jackpot. Ribbon and defense sword.
So
Just
we're not
right
opening
there.
another box in the game. We're done. We're good. Stomp to the finish.
Yep. I mean, the only question is, do you take on Warmech for the fans, or you just leave him in the dust because, well, you don't need any of that.
Defense alters the equation somewhat. Actually, no, it alters it completely. I would take defense stacks on the knight and melee down with Mazza, because the knight and whoever else happens to survive are going to get buckets of levels. And sure, we don't have life to bring any characters back up, but that same defense plus Mazza will get us through Tia. And it looks like we're going to take us a robot fight.
Maybe he went back, but I thought he was running at first.
Oh, he is running. He had one character set to run and had the rest. We got the double Warmech. Warmech's not done. Warmech 2, Revenge of the Warmech. Super Pleb says, nah, I'm not going to be disrespected like this. I'm going to disrespect you. Let's fast the Mazza user. Here, look at this copper gauntlet. Incoming punch almost takes down the knight. All right, that's not great. Let's get to 3 evasion stacks on that knight as soon as we can. We need more defense. That ninja is going to chuck a heal pot. We're going to try some heal 3. Let's try some temper. Defense goes off. We're at 5 of 6. Heal 3 goes off. Temper goes off. And a chucked heal pot. Melee misses. We're going to use defense to make sure that we've hit evasion cap. Temper goes off. Temper will go off, and we're going to try some lock before we do a test swing, just in case. Ninja gets obliterated. The ablative meat shield is down. The final defense stack goes up. Lock goes off. Next round, we're going to try double temper swing. Swing! 10 hits, 961. Down goes the Warmech. We have solved our level problems.
And that was about a perfect fight, with all of the experience, none of it going to the ninja, which is just, as you called it, the ablative meat shield. I mean,
what else is it
wanted
doing?
Out of it. Yeah, you had plenty of heal pots to take care of that, and that'll work.
We're going to try taking on this TO1. We're going to try melee strats. Invis 2 goes out, defense goes out, incoming fire 2. Significant damage to the black mage, otherwise not so much. The fast goes off. We're going to try some temper, some lock, and a swing. 10 hits, 977. TO1 is still there. Lock probably isn't going to help much. That seemed like it fully connected. Fire 2 comes in, does fire 2 things. Temper goes off. Next round, swing. How about some brack? And maybe some bane. But the swing goes out, 10 hits, 1076. Down goes TO1. That's 3 orbs lit for Super Pleb.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
Sorry, go ahead. It's like when your Masa is hitting for 900 or 1,000 damage, you're just gonna carve straight through, especially these first fiend fights, and I expect Super Pleb to just be able to make it straight through the rest of this game.
Ladies and gentlemen of Randomania 3, the blue steak has blessed our run. We have consumed the blue steak. It has fed us. It has nourished us. We can continue on to a glorious ending. Meanwhile, on the left side of our screen, it looks like Alliesong is still having problems with Earth Cave. Might be reversing course at this point and abandoning the proposition altogether. But Tigers have Thunder, and they're not letting her go anywhere.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, with Allie spending so much time on this Earth Cave, Does she realize how much time she's spent on it, or is maybe she's forgotten that she has access to the sages?
It might be that, but it also might be the sunk cost fallacy. It might be the thing of, we have spent so much time on this earth cave. This earth cave has to be it, or we're sunk. I mean, that's one of the things that I've fallen for on occasion, but it takes a lot of courage to admit that we have spent a lot of time going in the wrong direction. Let's try elsewhere.
Yeah, I know it's something that everybody goes through, and I've heard people with the like the 3 failure rule, or just recognizing when this is something is beatable and when you need to keep banging your head against it. It is certainly, it's not a straightforward call.
Mm-hmm.
And something we all get better with it with experience, and of course, it being randomizer and RNG being in this game, we have stuff like you don't make it, past carry 2, and then your opponent just never sees that bad stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Which has never happened at all in this tournament.
No, never. Burt Reynolds in chat. By the way, our tracker for today, Mr. Burt Reynolds, doing an excellent job so far, points out that we have seen very few skills and spells from enemies so far. That could be a bad omen for Topher. Yep.
And I'm pretty sure Allie has already been to that armory, so I'm not sure why she's headed back there.
I think this is panic at this point. This is attempting to figure out, where is the thing I'm missing? Where is the place I have not gone? What do we do about this? There's variations of this theme that we've seen over multiple tournaments from multiple runners at both the top and newer to the game. The NPC you forget to talk to, but swear up and down you talk to them. A popular favorite is the Bicky fight. Like, you take the pirate fight and then you just happily truck on out of town, leaving the key item there.
Yeah, or we've seen some people blast location the vendor item at the caravan.
Mm-hmm.
It's like forgetting that that's even a place you can go is certainly something that happens. So, yeah, I know my first seat I ran seriously. I came for begging for help, and Trenton had to help me figure out that I was town shuffle. I had the Oxyel, so I was stuck in the inner sea and needed to go clear the sea shrine.
Mm-hmm. Lord of the Synth in chat. Why, no, I have never left the item on Bicky, not at all. I'll tell you my embarrassing story real quick that happened during a live tournament race. I was doing great. I was trucking along. I was arguably ahead, and then I triumphantly, boldly enter the Temple of Fiends. I make it to Phantom's room. I use the loot. I head downstairs. My face crashes into a closed door that I cannot open.
You need the Mystic Key to open this door.
And I opened and looked at my inventory a good solid 6 or 7 times, and at none of those points did I see the crystal sitting in my inventory.
Oh, so you had the turn-in item required to get it, so... And then I'm assuming you went looking for the key?
I sure did. I hit up Sarda, I hit up Titan's Trove, I hit up a couple other of the likely haunts. I went talking to NPCs to make sure I did. And then eventually, on like the 8th try that I opened my inventory, I went, all right, that's a crystal. Oh crap, that's a crystal that I need to go do. Yep.
Yeah, I've certainly been involved in a couple of races here. Fortunately, I've been on the like the tracking side of them, where we've all been sort of like hoping someone will see that they haven't turned in the crystal or the adamant or the TNT, because that is the last item that they need to do to to have progression to make it through the rest of the seed.
And we've just got word that Alliesong has forfeit from the race. We're going to extend an invitation to see if they want to come in and interview real quick, but I have to imagine that the salt levels are very high, so it's possible that they might end up declining.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but it happens to all of us. So.
And Alliesong is going to be declining the interview. We wish them the best of luck. Wish them a good night's rest. Wish them coming back and being recharged, ready to take on their opponent next week. In the meantime,
let's put some GGs in chat for Alliesong.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're about to say, in the meantime, the Super Pleb has made it through the Sea Shrine. Fought Kraken 1, only losing his poor ninja, and I mean, it's not often that I feel bad for a ninja, but
every character has their job. every character in the party has their job. For this party, the thief is the ablative meat shield. It exists to be punished.
Yeah, it's like, I knew I'd be working at a boxing gym, I just didn't think I'd be working as the punching bag.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and our restreamer Demon Frog points out, and I just picked up on it myself, just using the one house has aligned the inventory in position so that the heal slot is on the bottom left. Mwah. I love it.
Yes, that is a manipulation that honestly, I haven't seen as much of as I would expect in this tournament, even from experienced runners. And that, 10th of a second when you're going through 99 heal pots, that adds up.
It's a question of the preparation required. If I opened my inventory and saw that I was a dumb person and I bought like 40 tents and like 20 cabins, and I need to consume 2 of those, or fly around and figure out where a house is. If those are my options versus 1 extra input for heal pots, I'll take the 1 extra input for heal pots.
Yeah, there's usually, and I actually do that on purpose, where I will leave, I will only take tents or cabins, I won't take both, so that I can manipulate it by 1 slot fairly easily.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever I have is just what I've picked up out of chests.
Right.
So, Alliesong joining us here in the chat. So, GG's Allie. As Lord Fizzlebeef said, blame me. I'm the one that rolled that, the garbage magic in that seed.
Yep.
And
you know what you did.
Yeah, I'm a big boy. I'll take the blame for it.
As Pleb rounds the corner on Earthfloor, we're about to get our look at the first fake boss of Topher, the Lich 2.
You mean the Gerb Medusa pack, right? The first fake boss?
They're about the same difficulty, yeah. But we're respecting Lich 2. You hate to see it. Let's see how we're punished for our sins.
Oh, wow. I guess if you have enough fast charges, but I probably would not have bothered.
1 big strong swing, and down goes the fake boss. We have Jump Speed Bump 2, and we're onto the fire floor, headed towards the first real boss of Topher, Carry 2. You got a lot of Agamas in the way.
Yep, and I was thinking that I'm keeping an eye out for what our tracker Burt Reynolds called, is that we didn't see a lot of the nasty, abilities or skills for the trash. And that's usually what I'm worried about more than necessarily than the bosses.
Mhm. All right, here we go with carry 2. We're going to start with some Invis 2. Swing goes out, 3 hits 72. The fast goes off. The knight is powered, but the knight goes with defense. Incoming lightning 3. The ninja takes not much damage. The black wizard takes a ton of damage. We're going to continue buffing. Going into round 2, Temper hits the knight. Knight swings, 10 hits 499. Temper goes off again. Incoming nuclear. Down goes the ninja. Down goes the black wizard. We're down to 2 party members at this point. Temper goes off. Ink does ink things. Swing. 10 hits for 1148. Down goes carry 2. Time for some triage.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that we did pick up life 2 on the red wizard. That makes a big difference. But if we hadn't had that, that would. I mean, I think that this is where a little bit more speed and power would have made that fight a lot easier for him.
We certainly would have dodged that nuclear. The big problem with this dive is, number 1, nuke is level 5. That's not great for the number of spell charges we have across 2 mages. Number 2, yes, the red wizard has life 2, but life 2 shares a level with nuke. So we're having to choose between survivability and raw damage output. I think for carry 2, I would have layered on fast or I would have done fast and temper on the knight and just hoped for Mazza to get there, maybe a cheeky quad X here or there.
Yeah, especially she's not that deep in, so I don't mind finding out that, it's pretty rare that Carry 2 has those massive melee swings or has something really awful on her, so usually to me that one is worth the risk.
We're 2 for 2 on packs of unrunnable waters heading into the water floor here. Superpleb making the excellent decision to use Ice 3, but is looking at his inventory of spells and starting to see, I'm starting to run low on Ice 3 charges, and these are also my heal 3s and fasts. Let's toss in a nuke for good measure, and we're 3 for 3 on unrunnable waters.
Wow.
Weirdo, what have you done to them?
Well, I wanted to make it interesting. I figured if they got this far in the seed, they deserved a little fun. Or maybe that's fun question mark.
Gonna need to pull you aside later on and have a vigorous debate over the definition of fun.
On the good side, Dan has made it all the way up to level 16.
Good for him. He gets a whole spell charge of spells he doesn't know. Question in chat from Russian Bishop. Did Allie forfeit? Yes, unfortunately, Allie has forfeit. This is Superpleb trying to make it to the end of Topher.
And yes, Superpleb is obviously a member of Team Mouse Cursor, and I'm not sure that he's going to be able to defeat the evil Mouse Cursor.
I mean, if a mouse cursor is on a white background, is it really there? Kraken 2, we're going to try some swings, some fasts. Incoming damage from Kraken 2. That's 562 against the Knight. The Knight is down on one knee and double-digit hit points. Defense and Invis 2 have hit. We're going to need more if that Knight's going to survive another round. What are we doing? How are we adapting? We're going to swing with the Knight, swing with the Ninja, temper,
I think
temper.
That was a defense with the Knight.
Nope, that was a swing with the Knight. 10 hits, 681. Down goes Kraken 2.
Oh, wow. Yep, you were right. And that was the right call, too.
Yep, we had to end that fight right then and there, because if that Knight went down, I don't believe that party had a plan B for taking on Kraken.
And I was also going to point out that is why we took that Wormek fight. He needed every single level just to survive that one hit.
Hey, unrunnable rock galls. Apparently the thing that we were supposed to be worried about was unrunnables, not spells and skills.
I guess it's a little taste of vanilla in there.
Yeah. We gotta use one of our incredibly precious nukes here to try and get through this fight in a timely manner. I'm gonna have to 2-round it, which feels a little bad, but it's still better safe than sorry. The core of the team is up to level 29.
So,
And-
do you consider actually moving your thief up to that first position, or do
Yes.
you leave it as is?
Move the thief up to the first position. We need our meat deflector in the spot where it's going to take half of attacks.
Yeah, I guess what I'm thinking is, even if it does go down after that first hit, then that alters the ratio between the rest of your party, right? So, but I guess
Sure.
is it the first hit, or are you worried about the third hit?
I'm worried about the second and third spell or skill. So if we can sync around into just detonating a thief while the rest of the party just goes full aggression, that thief will have done its job perfectly.
Yep, and I guess I'm still a little bit caught up in more defensive strats where I would have been considering buffing the knight for, with the defense sword rather than all of those tempers and fasts, which 1300 damage blows through Tia 2. That's certainly a different mindset, and he makes it through these fiends and is on to chaos.
All right, here we go. Oh, we're moving the meat deflector into prime deflecting position. Gonna do a quick fire hose of heal pots to stop off. And here we
Put the
go.
tasty morsel up in the window and say, "Come in and eat me."
We're opening with buffing and defense strats. Invis 2 goes off. We've got one stack across the board. Defense goes off. That's now 3 on the knight. Fast goes off. The knight is buffed. Ninja swing. 3 hits 47. That wasn't 3 damage. Lightning 2 comes in. Does over 100 damage to the Black Wizard. That's not great. Ninja's going to continue the attack. Power Gauntlet on the knight. What are we doing? More Invis 2. How about some more Temper? Power Gauntlet goes off. Temper goes off. Swing with the ninja. 1 hit for 64. Invis 2 goes off. That's 2 across the board and 4 on the knight. Bane goes out. Down goes the meat shield. The rest of the party survives. Time to go on the attack. Temper goes off. Temper will go off. We're going to try some lock. Incoming punch misses the knight. Knight gets tempered. Swing with the Mazza. 4 hits 48. That's not great accuracy. We're going to need some more of these lock charges. We're going to try swinging with the knight. Some heal 3 and a little bit of temper. Swing goes off. 8 hits for 1100 damage. Chaos still standing. Heal 3 goes off. We need to repair some of the damage from that Lightning 2. Temper goes off. Incoming another Lightning 2. Not much across the board. Swing. We're going to attack with the knight. We're going to try some temper and some more temper. Temper number 1 goes off. Temper number 2 goes off. Swing. 7 hits for 800 damage. Chaos is still there. Incoming punch doesn't do anything. More power.
Up over vanilla hit points so far.
One more swing. 10 hits for 1,612, and down goes Chaos. TheRealSuperPleb finishes in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 45 seconds. GG Pleb.
GG's. That's a very respectable time.
And we're going to see if we can get him in here real quick for an interview. Oh, and we're joined in the booth now by TheRealSuperPleb. GG.
Yeah, that water floor.
That water floor.
Oh,
I don't know what was so bad about it.
the unrunnable water is every, I don't know, 2 steps.
TheRealSuperPleb. GG. I made a note that you were 3 for 3 on encounters being unrunnable waters on that floor, and just because you weren't done with unrunnables yet, you had more rock gulls. But let's talk about the seed in general. Walk me through your thoughts on what MG Weirdo did to you tonight.
It wasn't as bad as most Earth seeds go, but that opal bracelet in the Earth, I was like, oh crap, where do I go? Where do I go? So I went and turned in Crown, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I'm gonna go up and check Topher locked. And I'm like, wait, I got both loose items already. So I had to run all the way over to Sage's. And they gave me Ruby, so it was a nice big merry-go-round, the whole seed. I think I circled the map at least twice, maybe 3 times.
There was a lot of boating going on, yeah.
Yeah. That floater placement, though. All in all, not bad. I tried a new strategy, just danning off the thief,
Mm-hmm.
and it took me forever to dan that thief off. I was getting frustrated that that thief wasn't danning off, and when he finally
Yeah.
danned off, I'm like, "Thank you, thank you." I danned him off and got away down in Crescent Lake. So,
So yeah, actually, yeah, talk to us about your party selection. Fighter Thief Red Black. I know it's my favorite party, but why are you rolling with it?
that's the party I've probably practiced with the most before the tournament.
All right, fair enough.
Or
Um,
thief white, black.
okay. Um, I guess my next question is, so a seed like this, you get both loose inside of like 15 minutes. How does that affect your thoughts on routing the rest of the seed?
Then I just go to when I got both the loose. If I remember, I have both the loose. I route towards incentive locations immediately. I don't. I'm not worried about checking chests and dungeons for anything. I'm immediately prioritizing key items. Soon as I can get them, when I can get them, the faster the better.
Mhm.
I had to do some gear checks. I did one in Volcano that kind of panned out. The Earth check, the early Earth top check was just great. When I saw Mass Moon pop, I was like, "Oh yes, I'm gonna be able to go much faster now." So, but the Sun Sword was nice too. Up in L's Key Lock, that was nice. That was a nice pickup too. I was actually thinking, hey, if I don't find the Mass Moon, I've got both loose. Um, depending on how the key items play out and how my armor drops out, I'm not even gonna look for it. And that Sky Greed check, as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Yep, I'm not checking anything. No Sharknado, nothing else. I've got 2 ribbons, defense, Mass Moon. I'm gone." So I forgot to buy level 6 magic. I realized that as soon as I hit the water floor, I'm like, I don't have Lightning 3, and I know it's at level 6. So I think my biggest mistake this seed is when I cabin reset going up with the floater to get the airship and reset all the way back to on-rack docks. That hurt.
Oh, we missed that.
Yeah, I was just up above. I was right below Elfland Docks, and I popped a cabin, and I reset too fast, and I went all the way back to to on rack.
You said.
Yeah, on rack docks. And I've been up since morning, so
All right, we'll try and keep this short. Weirdo, do you have any
Oh,
questions for him?
yeah, I guess my question was sort of how did you make your decisions on which sets of chests to check and which ones not to? Because you skipped some very easy, or some very close checks, some very free checks along the way, especially like in Earth. But then other places you went out of your way a little bit for some groups of chests. So
um for the chests that I went out of way on, that's just preference. I usually find something there every seed I run. It may be a ribbon, maybe an opal armor, an ice or a fire armor, ice shield, opal shield. It's end game gear that I'm looking for. Um, Earth, I really don't like checking chests in Earth if the trap tiles are bad. Like I'll check armory trap tile when you first come into armory. I normally check that one first. I skipped it for the other trap tile. I checked that one, and that's the main reason I went to Lava Cave right after I cleared Earth. Was to check for a grind spot because I hadn't found one yet. I didn't check Astos because I was too low level and I didn't want to waste time. I was more focused on the key item grind.
yeah, no, we certainly saw that too. That was one difference we noticed was that it seemed like you you checked the chest, but you skipped a lot of the trap tile, and that slowed you down a little bit in the sort of, I guess, the middle game, you might call it.
Yeah, that's like the one chest right before Vampire on Earth floor. I don't know why I thought it wasn't Mux, but I'm like, I checked it out of habit. Because if I'm low on levels and I'm running through Earth, that's the one trap tile I like to check. Because it's a free trap tile check in a chest. You know, you pop a ribbon or 500 some gold like I did. It's just, for me, it's a fairly, in this flag set with the randomized trap tiles, a quick and easy check.
No, it makes sense, and certainly if you've been practicing these seeds and you see something somewhere pretty often, then it makes sense to go back for those or get used to checking those.
What did I really go out of my way for? Was that
I was also, I mean, so you did go to the volcano armory. I realize
yeah?
that's a pretty big chunk. And then also, uh, I think you went Mirage 2 before Mirage 1.
Ah,
And that's also kind of where I'm like, well, at least my personal preference is to, if I'm going to check chests there, I usually check them higher up in Sky.
for me, the reason I checked Mirage 2 before Mirage 1 first is because I had Warp. If I would have had Exit, I would have checked 1, exited out, saved, and then checked Mirage 2. And I don't check anything but the, if I'm not looking for loose, I don't check anything but the right side chest in Sky, and then the 3 forward. If I'm really hurting for gear, I'll check all of 3rd floor Sky. I never check the star room unless I'm looking for an incentive item. That's just it's a lot of walking, and it seems to eat up a lot of time. I used to full clear Sky every time I went there, and that was eating up way too much time. So I decided to go through skipping it this week, and it benefited me a lot. It cut 10 minutes off my average, so I'm gonna stick with it as long as there's no incentives still loose.
Well, you had that this week, but I guess we get to roll and see if it's Volcano or Sky Week next week, right?
Yep.
And we'll see. So,
Well,
but congratulations on the victory, right? And GG's, especially making it under your average time. That was a really respectable time to put in, and say good luck going forward too.
thank you.
All right, well, that's going to do it here on Random Menu 3 for us from the Final Fantasy Randomizer community. Coming up later tonight at 8 p.m. on Speed Gaming 3, we've got Kenny Star versus High Spirits. And then later on at 9 p.m. on Randomania 1, we've got Rafe Hates Caleb versus Wild Ham Zero. That one's sure to be a real barn burner. I can't wait to see that one. I'd like to thank my partner in crime, MG Weirdo. I'd like to thank Burt Reynolds for doing a great job tracking, and Demon Frog for doing a great job restreaming. For all of you out there, my name is Left Front Bumper, and we will see you next time. Have a good night.